everyone. I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The Defense Ministry has declined to give TaiwanPlus further explanation as to why some of its most critical weapons were deployed within public view, a move some say is a security risk. Haifeng explains.
These Taiwanese Navy personnel are part of a special unit known as the Haifeng Brigade. They're tasked with one core mission: destroying enemy ships. And by carrying missiles in massive trucks, they're able to deploy almost anywhere in the country. Earlier this year, TaiwanPlus got a chance to see one of the brigades in action as they conducted a simulated defense of a port against pretend Chinese ships.
近年来，更从固定阵地转型为机动飞弹车组，并挂载了雄风3型反舰飞弹。
Established in the 1980s, the Haifeng Missile Brigade has seen a surge in investment in recent years, spurred by the military pressure from China, which is the world's largest navy and threatens to invade Taiwan. Analysts here in Taiwan say that the Haifeng Brigade is a core part of Taiwan's asymmetric strategy, leaning more on missiles to offset the costs of expensive warships.
因为台湾的资源 resources 比较有限，所以就不能采取传统海军的这个做法。那所以在这种情况下，台湾作为一个防卫者，就是有足够的飞弹的话，就可以阻止中国的两栖登陆。那当然就可以让台湾有很高的机会可以防卫成功了。
The Haifeng Brigade was deployed multiple times during several of China's recent large military exercises around the country, giving the public a glimpse of one of the country's most secretive weapon systems. Critics argue that the public display poses a security risk, as the weapons are repeatedly deployed in the same location and are easily trackable due to their size.
There is a huge convoy that's that attract attentions and everyone know where it is. The bigger the convoy, of course, the higher the profile that they are. You can bet that a remote sensing satellite, a Chinese remote sensing satellite from space, take a photo, they can see easily on a highway.
A Chinese company has already used dozens of pictures uploaded by Taiwanese media to map out what they suspect are the system's transportation routes and where they would be stationed. Taiwan's Defense Ministry has said that during wartime, there would be many places they could be deployed.
我们主要现在就着重在于这个在战力保存的阶段，要着重于信息管理。那我们要部署的战术位置也不是只有一个。
Analysts from Taiwan's government-backed think tank argue that in an actual conflict, this massive convoy, which includes the radar, a command center, and the missiles, would never be in the same place at the same time.
大概是3个 module， 3个模组，所以它要去一个就是 set up 一个 position， 其实很快，就不会像现在就是可能看到你在一个停车场就会就是容易看到它，在真正战时的时候，它这3个 module 会分开的。
While Taiwan navigates how to correctly use and deploy its new systems, the Navy has plans to expand the Haifeng Brigade across the country. While the brigade's weapons seem necessary for Taiwan's defense, it remains unclear if the military has nailed down the tactics necessary to use them effectively. Andy Shrey and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
Indian news outlets say Vietnam is nearing a deal to purchase an anti-ship missile system from the country. The deal comes after the Philippines acquired a similar weapon system to use in the South China Sea, where it has competing claims with China. To learn more about Vietnam's motivations, our reporter Otto Brauer spoke to Don McLean-Gill, a lecturer at the De La Salle University in Manila.
What do you make of these reports about Vietnam buying BrahMos missile systems from India? Why would Vietnam want these anti-ship missiles?
China, for instance, pushing the envelope in its claim over the Gulf of Tonkin. In the past few weeks, we saw Chinese maritime forces beat Vietnamese fisherfolk with iron clubs, for instance. And of course, the the imprisonment or the detainment of Vietnamese fishermen, right? So these are a number of important aspects that also determined in the strategic calculations of Vietnam towards acquiring the BrahMos missile as an important deterrent. But we have to underscore that Vietnam is unlikely to engage in bloc politics against China, driven by its strategic culture, its emphasis on strategic autonomy.
The Philippines has already acquired a similar missile system to use in the South China Sea, where it has competing claims with China. Is that why Vietnam wants to buy these missiles?
It's quite interesting that Vietnam has been in the works of its negotiations with India for the BrahMos missiles and other types of weapon systems as well. For instance, in 2017, there was the Akash missiles, right? So this also gained some controversy vis-a-vis China. But today, given the highly competitive nature of Indo-Pacific geopolitics, the highly polarized dimension of Southeast Asian security, this was a natural step for Vietnam, right? And of course, as we see, Vietnam and the Philippines are also improving their confidence building mechanisms through bilateral patrols for non-traditional security issues with their coast guards. Then this is definitely in line with the whole aspect of deterrence, right? So this is in fact also another thing that we could anticipate, given of course that there's a trend within Southeast Asia to bolster their defense capabilities amidst the US-China power competition on one hand and China's expansionism on the other.
And how do you think China will react to Vietnam acquiring these missiles?
China has also been a major supplier of arms and defense equipment to India's immediate neighbors. And of course, the first offshore base of China is in Djibouti in the Western Indian Ocean. So in this regard, I don't really think that China should be apprehensive about this, given that it has been trying to do so in a different connotation. When we look at India's engagements in Southeast Asia, it is not merely to address the China factor, but it is to improve the capacity building of like-minded and friendly nations.
That was Don McClain-Gill from the De La Salle University. Extreme weather has forced water buffaloes at Yangmingshan National Park to leave their homes, causing problems for nearby villagers. Our reporter Cindy Chi explains.
Stray water buffaloes wandering down the streets of Pingdeng Village in Taipei City. The scene has become common recently, as extreme weather forces the animals to leave their territory in Yangmingshan National Park. This usually happens when there is a sudden drop in temperature or continuous rain. The arrival of the animals has raised concerns among local residents. They worry about the safety of the people and their farms.
不是不喜欢它，是怕说有时候会造成农损啊，然后农户求偿无门。那个高丽菜啊，最多那一年有一次啊吃了270几颗，一夜之间呢都干那一家都搞毁了了啊。
To prevent the buffaloes from causing problems, the park is giving farmers subsidies to install electric fences.
电木围网，希望能够让牛不要再干扰，就是补助农民，平等里的农民可以围起来，然后让牛不要再就是进到这个农园。
The park is also working on protective measures, repairing old cattle sheds, and providing hay and salt licks for the animals. The park says these efforts have successfully encouraged the water buffaloes to stay, making it less likely they'll wander down the mountain.
冬季的时候，我们就尽量能够做到它在山上的一个营养来源的充足，还有它保暖的部分。
The water buffaloes aren't suited to living in Yangmingshan National Park. Farmers brought them there in the 1900s to graze during fallow periods, and now experts are working to find them a better home. Until then, the park can only do so much to encourage its water buffaloes to be good neighbors to the local residents. Chris Ma and Sunny Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching today's What's Up Taiwan. Before we go, check out these two rare golden tigers at Chiang Mai Night Safari. The 3-year-old twin sisters have taken social media by storm after their June debut. I'm Ethan Liu, take care, and I'll see you next time.